And the San Diego Padres, the middle game of the three-game series. Pirates' three-city, 10-game road trip rolls on, and the Buccos are rolling. After dropping 2 of 3 in New York, they took 3 of 4 in L.A., and a big offensive explosion last night. 10-3, the Pirates pounded out 16 hits. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk. And right in the middle of it all last night, Bob, was the Pirates' number 8 hitter, Jordy Mercer, leading the way.
Boy, that was really a lot of fun to watch Jordy kind of have that breakout game. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and it wasn't just this long home run that I think you could get excited about. The next couple of base hits he got, really controlled swings and situations to drive in runs where he took the ball the other direction. And I think that, more than the home run, to me tells me he's getting that swing that he had last year. Much better hitter than we have seen to this point.
6 for 9 his last 2 games, by the way. And look at the Pirates' offense since May the 1st. This is startling to me, Bob. Pirates have the best offense average-wise in the National League, second best in the major leagues behind only the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, I agree, Greg. This is fantastic to see this. When the pitching gets back to where it really should be, where it was last year, you put the good pitching numbers with what we're looking at right now, and this team will jump back to the top of this division quickly.
Merrill Automotive, league-leading numbers there for your Buccos since May the 1st. Well, since he joined the Pirates last June, Garrett Cole has been outstanding. The right-hander will be making the start for the Pirates tonight. The Southern California kid making the start against the Padres. We'll talk more Cole and the Buccos coming up next. The San Diego Padres. Here's a statue of the great Tony Gwynn as the Buccos beat the Padres for Game 2 of the 3-game series. And boy, how about the butterflies this guy must be having right now. Jesse Hahn called up from Double-A San Antonio, and he will be opposed by Garrett Cole.
Garrett has just progressed along and really becoming someone that everyone, the players, fans, look up to. And they want him to go out and win the game. He's become that kind of a pitcher. Look what he's done. 7 of his last 8 starts, 3 earned runs or less. He's the man.
2 starts last year against the Padres. So which team will have their hitting shoes on? It's a Cole-Hahn matchup. Let's go to the studios in Pittsburgh and Rob King with a game break. A nice piece there from one of our editors here on Root Sports. He goes by his middle name, Megatron. Pirates and Padres here in San Diego, and another beautiful night for baseball. And it was a long night last night, thanks in large part to that man. He was on base 5 times, went 4 for 4, drew a walk, and he has really turned it on. If you go back to his game Saturday where he had a couple of hits against the Dodgers, did not play on Sunday, but Jordy Mercer, Bob, good to see him on the offensive.
Hey, you know that that hitter that took the shortstop job last year is still there. He's still that guy, and you just keep pulling for him, and it'll be a big help if he can come out and still have that type of season that he had last year. Get that batting average up there, 270, 280.
Check out our Toyota starting lineup. It's Josh Harrison, who had 3 more hits last night. He'll be followed by Neil Walker since May the 1st. Walker hitting over 300 with 20 RBIs. Andrew McCutchen follows. Ike Davis, the cleanup hitter. Russell Martin bats 5th, and it's Pedro Alvarez, and Travis Snyder makes his first start since May the 18th. as Starling Marte gets the night off. Jordy Mercer and Garrett Cole round out the starting 9 against Jesse Hahn.
Oh yeah, he's got to just, as you said, Greg, have the butterflies just going all over the place right now. Very inexperienced, even just at the minor league level. Not a whole lot to draw on. So I would think that the Pirates will be a little bit patient early with him to see if he's going to be wild, see if he is just, you know, a case of nerves out on that mound. Make him throw strikes right away. And the Pirates have been doing a pretty good job of that. This offense has really shown some patience, and they're trying to get their pitch to hit, and they've been doing that of late.
Well, especially last night, we're kidding about the 4-hour game, but a lot of it had to do with the Pirates hitters.
Absolutely.
Cameron Maven in center field, Seth Smith in left as Carlos Quentin takes a seat, Will Venable in right, Chase Headley, Yonder Alonso on the corners, Cabrera and Jerko up the middle with Renny Rivera catching Jesse Hahn. Seth Smith moves from right to left, and no surprise that Carlos Quentin is not in the starting lineup. If you happen to be watching with us at about 2 in the morning, Bud Black was not thrilled with Quentin's last at bat, where he walked to first base after hitting a ground ball toward the left side of the infield. So Bud Black decides not to start Carlos Quentin. Here's the play that you might have missed. It was toward the end of the ball game, the bobble. I mean, look at Quentin. That is incredibly unprofessional. I mean,
yeah, there's no excuse for that. I don't care if it's 10-3, 20-3. You can't just slow jog it down. You know, the ball's being bobbled all over the place, and no excuse for that. He needs to apologize really to the fans. You know, I don't know what I didn't read the paper today here locally. I don't know what he said, but that was disappointing.
So Jesse Hahn makes his major league debut. First pitch was a ball. He's got a big arm, according to Bud Black. That fastball in the mid-90s sometimes. He touched 100. A right-hander from Norwich, Connecticut. And Harrison takes the strike. And the first strike in Jesse Hahn's career. 2-1. And he gets the strike call there from Alan Porter.
Yeah, that one hit 95. And a number of hard throwers out of Connecticut.
We're going to get to that.
That state kind of breeds those power pitchers.
The Nutmeg State. Ball's popped up. Shallow center, and the second baseman is out. Jerko makes the play as he backpedals. Josh Harrison is retired, and Jesse Hahn has his first out under his belt.
It'll be a night of that sort of thing for him, and he'll always remember you know, what happened to that very first hitter he faced. I don't know, it was a little pop fly off the end of the bat.
Beautiful 70 degrees here. Winds out of the northwest 11.
Way different from yesterday.
And the day before.
It's like there's got a dome over the city.
That's exactly right.
What was that movie that?
Groundhog Day.
No, with.
It's not Groundhog Day. Temperature-wise, it is here.
Well, it all took place under a dome, and the guy that lived there didn't know he was in a dome.
Oh,
Alan helped son.
The Truman Story.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
Jim
like
Carrey.
that's what San Diego's like.
These people don't know it, but they're in the Truman Story. We're all watching them. Strike on Neil Walker. It's 2-1. Walker had 3 hits, drove in 3 runs, and was hit twice last night. Fouled out of play. Jesse Hahn was projected to be a first-round pick by somebody in the draft out of Virginia Tech in 2010, but his last start he blew out his elbow 2 days before the draft, so he slipped to the 6th round. The Tampa Bay Rays selected him, signed him, even though they knew surgery and Tommy John surgery was in the offing, and that ball nearly nicks Walker's pant legs.
What's more common, the cold or Tommy John surgery?
Tommy John surgery.
Yeah. I know more people have had Tommy John surgery than have caught a cold. It is just so routine now.
Padres have had a bunch of injuries. So they traded for Hahn over the winter. A few days after he reported to a spring training for Tampa Bay, he was dealt part of a 7-player trade. The Padres also got a lefty that we saw out of the bullpen last night, Alex Torres. And a handful of players went to the Rays, including utility man Logan Forsythe. And a broken bat. Cabrera retires Neil Walker. 2 away. Pop up by Harrison and a 1-hop broken bat bouncer to Cabrera to start Jesse Hahn's career. Had the Tommy John surgery, as we mentioned, so he rehabbed in 2011. And as Bob said, this is a guy with very little, when you think about it, experience in the minor leagues. He was an A-ball 2 years ago in the Rays organization, played 14 games, pitched 14 games.
Well, the Padres are definitely looking high and low for pitching right now, wouldn't you say?
Yes, anywhere they can, no doubt. He faces Andrew McCutchen. This, if he had nerves at the start of the game, sure, heart beating a little, perhaps extra fast here as he faces the reigning MVP. 6'5", 190 pounds. In there for a strike. Two and one on McCutchen. The strike, it's 2-2. And you know, Bob, kidding about the Tommy John or the common cold. What's more common? But for a team like Tampa Bay, knowing that he was going to have that surgery just tells you how certain people are about coming back from that surgery.
Yeah, get that right.
And he strikes out McCutchen for his first big league K. Retires the Pirates in order. Garrett Cole takes the hill. Bud Black's club, the San Diego Padres, with a record of 26-32 on the year. Here is the Honda starting lineup for Bud Black. The Padres will lead off their shortstop, Everett Cabrera, the switch-hitting shortstop who was 1 for 3 with a walk and a stolen base last night. He has a dozen steals now in 17 attempts as Cabrera. He'll be followed by Chase Headley, the third baseman. Moved up a little bit in the lineup. Then it's Seth Smith and Yonder Alonso with Jed Jerko hitting fifth. Rule Venable, Cameron Maben, Rene Rivera, and Jesse Hahn against Garrett Cole, making his third start of his young career against these Padres.
Cole has really relied on that fastball a lot in his last start. We'll see if he Mixes in a few more off-speed pitches here against the Padres. Good ballpark to pitch in. I imagine he'll be, as always, very aggressive to the Mets.
He's won his last 2 decisions. Last 3 starts. Went 6 1/3 against the Dodgers on this road trip Thursday night. Cabrera takes the strike from Cole. 5-3 on the year. 1-1 in 2 starts against the Padres last season. Pitch inside to Cabrera. .254 batter from this left side of the plate. 27-year-old Nicaraguan. Didn't miss by a lot. 2-1. Saw that note. We're showing you the lineup that Cabrera hitting .300 recently. And that's a ball. 3-1 on Everett Cabrera. A .300 career hitter against Pirates pitching. Cole has walked 23 batters in his 71 innings. It's there. Back in Southern California, the 23-year-old from Newport Beach, California. Actually a year younger, just about, than his mound opponent. Cole 23, Hahn is 24. His time is called. Umpire behind home plate is Alan Porter. Joe West, the crew chief at first, Rob Drake at second, and Seth Buckminster at third. Toward first base, hugs the line, and Davis tries to keep it fair. A quick swipe.
Yeah, it seems like Joe West is here every time we are.
It does seem that way. We run into him a lot, don't we?
Always in San Diego, yeah. There he is again. The long-time National League umpire. Now Major League umpire, crew chief.
Checks, takes, appeal, no, and a leadoff free pass. Garrett Cole's wondering about that. Maybe asking Alan Porter not about the swing, but was the pitch a strike?
I tried to nail that outside corner and just slipped off away a little bit.
It was outside. So perhaps really asking Porter more about the swing then. And here is Chase Headley. There goes the runner right away. Pitch is taken for a ball. A throw down, a one-hopper, and they nail him. Jordy Mercer, the throw from Russell Martin. Wow, talk about quick.
A nice strong throw, but a great play by Mercer. Able to pick that ball out of the dirt, and it got the ball and the tag down in front of the base. Sometimes when you're fielding the ball out of the dirt, the glove is coming up as you're catching it, and it's tough to get it back down in the dirt in time to make this tag. Ball didn't bounce very high, though. That helped him out. He didn't have far to go with that ball or with the glove.
Good on both ends then from Russell Martin. A quick release.
You say that Russell was aggressive to the glove.
Outs last night, was hit by a pitch. I'm sure the Padres don't want to put the onus and the entire struggles of a team on one man, but you look at Headley's performance a couple of years ago and how badly he has slipped. It's hard not to. Two and two on Headley. Perhaps didn't fully recover last year from a left thumb injury. It landed him on the DL early. Rips this down the line, but foul. We're talking about a guy who 2 years ago drove in 115 to lead the National League, hit 31 homers. He was the center of attention over that offseason. Many thought that the Padres would want to try and move him before he cost them too much. A few teams were rumored to be in the Chase Headley sweepstakes, including the Pirates, but he stayed. And he struggled last year, hitting .250 with 13 homers and 50 RBIs. And he's caught looking.
Just the Padres knew that he was going to be affordable in the future. He is affordable now.
Breaking ball frozen.
Breaking ball right down the middle. I mean, that middle of the plate, thigh high. 2 years ago, he would have hit that one hard somewhere.
Cole now facing Seth Smith. One of the few bright spots for the Padres offense, hitting .310 in his first year in San Diego. One for three, couple of walks, couple of punch outs last night. Strike is called. And Seth Smith hitting better here in one of the best pitching ballparks in all of baseball. It's a real rarity. Home batting average of .376 for Smith, facing Garrett Cole in a count of 2-1.
I think she's still in Colorado.
Yeah. Three and one. Smith fourth in the league in on-base percentage, 8th in the league in slugging. The shift on against him. 3-1 count. 98 as Cole increases the velocity.
A good spot too. Got it in on the hands. Put that target in there, and combination of velocity and the location, he could get the head of the bat out to it.
Stays alive. Another 98. Fastball from Cole. It's 3-2. Ground balls to the right side, 72.6%.
Well, they should put everybody on the right side then.
Oh, he thought he was going to get a fastball, and he got the breaking ball.
That was not a very good looking swing, was it?
Nothing.
is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyattoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank. Know where you stand with PNC Total Insight. Let's go Bucks!
0-0. Garrett Cole and also Martin talking about the first inning. Bucco fans on hand here in San Diego. Their Pirates off to a sluggish start on this 10-game road trip, losing 2 of 3 in New York. But then winners of 3 of 4 in LA and last night. And as we said at the opening of this telecast, Pirate offense coming alive since May the 1st. And this guy's been a big part of it. Davis, an on-base percentage of .381 with the Pirates.
Yeah, he is definitely a big part of the story of the offense getting so much better.
So is he and the guy next to him. But how about Jesse Hahn? 3-pitch strikeout of Ike Davis. Well, we're hoping for a lot more offense. For every run the Pirates score during tonight and tomorrow night's game, including last night's contest, you get $1 off the purchase price of outfield box and lower outfield box for the series that starts next Monday night against the Cubs, a 4-gamer. Tickets available for purchase 30 minutes after tomorrow's game at pirates.com/howmanyruns or Thursday at the PNC Park box office. A good start to the promotion. You score as the Bucks score. 10 runs last night. Russell Martin 0 for 5. One of the few 0-fers. And a walk in last night's game. Four up, 4 down for Jesse Hahn. And there's the first hit. Ground single through the left side of the infield. And 1 out knock for Russell Martin. Let's go to our Rivers Casino tips to win from Bob.
Well, last night, a lot of left on base. Even though we scored the 10 runs, it seemed like we could have scored probably 15, 16. Better job of that tonight would be nice. Keep those bullpen ERAs up. I would like to get in that Padre bullpen. That was such a big story last night. And then, of course, we've already talked about Mercer. What a great game he had, and I would like to see that continue. Everybody would. And I think it will tonight. I think he's going to get another couple of knocks. He's getting ready for his first one right now.
There's Pedro Alvarez. 2 for 5 with a walk last night. I thought you were going to start with a French Open theme.
Low?
Beginning of the lobs.
Lobs. French Open.
Going on right now at Roland Garros.
Yeah.
0-1 the count on Alvarez.
No, we scored 10 runs last night, but the bases seems like they were loaded a couple of times an inning. And normally you leave all those guys out there, it comes back to bite you. It didn't last night, obviously, but you don't want to make a habit of that. So hopefully tonight we get those opportunities.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
We'll get the big hit. That's what you're really looking for.
7 times Pirates came to the plate with the bases loaded. A sacrifice fly that Alvarez later that inning struck out. Following inning, Andrew McCutchen hit into a double play with the bases loaded to end that 4th frame. And Russell Martin in the 6th inning came to the plate with the bases loaded, struck out looking. And finally, Josh Harrison and Neil Walker back to back. Base hit and a 2-run double with bases loaded. A big swing from the big man and Jesse Hahn. Impressive early on here, 3 punch-outs.
Went upstairs with the fastball after everything down. Really not all that much velocity, to be honest with you. 92 is just an average fastball. That's good location.
Hahn struck out 28 batters in 32 2/3 innings at Double-A this season with the San Antonio Missions. 7 starts, 10 games total. The Padres have slowly built him up. They'll be careful with him. He's on an innings limit, about 110 innings total for the season. And you'd have to figure that his pitch count would come into play tonight. 75 pitches is what we heard his last time out. Breaking ball for a strike.
The innings and the pitch count.
What is it?
No, why do they have him on that?
Guess they want to bring him along slowly since Tommy John. Travis Snyder.
It's just kind of odd. You bring along slowly because it's Tommy John, but you put him in the big leagues out of Double-A, which is opposite of bringing somebody along slowly. But as we said, the Padres right now are maybe forced to do a few things.
Yeah, you don't want to say desperate, but it's borderline when you think about it. I mean, this is a highly touted pitcher. This isn't, as we said, he was highly scouted out of Virginia Tech. In the air to left, toward the line, ball dropping and foul, and a heck of a try there by Everett Cabrera. He was flying from his shortstop position. It was good and bad for both clubs for a while.
Well, he is moving in a quick glance to see where he's at. He went into that slide. I'm thinking just in case he was going to be closer to that wall. Actually kicked the ball, didn't he? Hit it on the toe.
And if it's fair and he does that, you get a run and Snyder gets a couple. Kicked it in foul territory and count 1-2 on Snyder. His first start since May the 18th against the Yankees. He hit leadoff that night at Yankee Stadium. His playing time drastically reduced. 6 starts in May for Travis Snyder. But doing a very nice job off the bench, as is Tabata and Gabby Sanchez, Pirates' top pinch hitting team in the league. Strike 3 call. Wow. Rivera held it there for an extra second, and Alan Porter finally rings up Snyder, and maybe it was the catcher who bought that call.
Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture, proudly featuring solid wood American-made Amish furniture. For furniture that lasts, shop Levin. Let's go Bucks!
Travis Snyder not happy with the call from home plate umpire Alan Porter that ended the top of the second inning. Here is a look. This is Jesse Hahn making his major league debut, and look at the catcher Rivera.
No, look at the umpire.
And the umpire.
He's in tape delay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Well, you know,
Rivera's ready to throw down, by the way.
Hahn, you know, longtime veteran. He's going to get those calls, you know. He'll get those calls.
My goodness. First pitch swinging Yonder Alonso to Josh Harrison playing left field tonight. One pitch, one out.
Well, the call I got from McCutchen. MVP. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's again, this is my new thing. This is baseball in the 21st century. This is what you have. You know, you don't have you know, the MVP rookie pitcher. That is meaningless anymore.
I contend that first base umpire would not have done that. I think Alan Porter, a younger umpire. I agree with you.
All right. Yeah. Good. Well, Joe,
tomorrow
he's been around so long that I think he's still a National League umpire.
Yeah.
He's not going to change. And there are some older guys that aren't. But that's what I mean. You're looking at 21st century baseball, and you got the little strike zone and that's what they're going to call.
Well, look at that one that Cole didn't get. They're going to start to get pretty frustrated here in a hurry. This is the pitch before the second pitch of this at bat. That was called a ball. So now it's 2-1. Jed Jerko fouls that one off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He was 0 for 2 last night, hit by a pitch and drew a walk. Off the end of the bat to his left, Walker, long run, able to get there. 2 down. Bob, how about back in 1969? Our day out of this day in Pirates history. 1969, Roberto Clemente, a 6th inning game-tying 3-run homer against the Reds. The 2,417th career hit for Roberto Clemente. He passed Max Carey and Pie Traynor, moving into the 3rd place slot on the Pirates' all-time hits list. Next half inning, Alex Johnson and Tony Perez hit RBI singles for the Reds. They beat the Buccos 7-3 on this date in 1969. But the great one passing 2 other great ones and Hall of Famers in Max Carey and Pie Traynor.
If I remember right, there was a key challenge in that game that the Pirates won.
No, I don't recall that. I don't think they had challenges back then.
They went on to have a big inning after
1969? I don't think so. One ball, one strike on Will Venable. Garrett Cole with a couple of strikeouts. Walked the leadoff man. Blew that one by him. Martin wanted it up. It was up 1-2.
Cole's got a pretty good fastball tonight. Just about everything is 96 to 98.
I'm asking Neil Huntington, I think it was the Sunday before last, about Garrett Cole, and he talked about how sometimes, I think a direct quote from the GM, I don't think Garrett Cole knows how good his fastball is. And maybe kind of going back to what you said, Bob, maybe throwing it more last time, but this time Venable lines it to right field for a double. Will Venable turns that 96-mile-per-hour fastball into a double.
In. Now to hit that fastball where it was right on the inside corner, you have to be cheating to it. At least to pull it down the line like that. Maybe not just to hit it, but to yank it down the chalk line. You had to be cheating to the fastball and totally disregarding something off speed away. If you can get to that, you're way out in front of something off speed away. Cole last time threw fastballs 3/4 over 75%. But he normally throws. Let me see if I can find my sheet here.
I hear it. I see it.
Normally he throws the fastball almost 70%, 67, 68.
There's a breaking pitch for a strike.
A little slider.
Cameron Maben had been out a couple games with a calf tightness. Pinch hit last night. 2-1. Center fielder hitting .311. 1 RBI. It was thanks to his lone home run. And another slider. 2-2.
Got to read the bats. That's what it's all about. What are the hitters trying to do? Figure that out, then you know what you got to do. We're cheating to that fastball. We'll just a little slower, a little away.
Struck him out.
3 of them. 3 swings and misses on that breaking ball.
Third K. And after 2 innings, it's 0-0.
Robbie, it's Mikowski. Well, Jesse Hahn off to a good start after in his big league debut after being recalled from AA San Antonio. And when you look at his bio, it reads he was born in Connecticut in 1989, went to high school there. So it's only natural that he grew up a Pirates and Penguins fan, right? Well, in tracking down the game notes from his last start for the San Antonio Missions, I'll read it verbatim, Greg. Jesse grew up a big Pittsburgh Pirates fan. He said he never had a favorite player growing up, but always loved Roberto Clemente. Jesse also roots for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Pittsburgh Steelers, and New York Knicks. And he also likes to cut hair in his free time. So pretty interesting that a 24-year-old kid always loved Roberto Clemente growing up in Connecticut, nonetheless.
Well, I thought you were going to say, Robbie, that here's a pitcher, and as Bob was hinting earlier, a hard-throwing righty from Connecticut. Pirate fans know well that one of the greatest Pirates pitchers in history hailed from the Nutmeg State, and that's our colleague Steve Blass. So I'm kind of surprised that that Hahn, in fact, maybe deep down he's a Blass fan.
I'm sure he is. I mean, I would be shocked if he didn't have pictures of Blass on the wall in his room when he was growing up.
Right there with Clemente. That is interesting, though, Robbie, that here he grows up a Steelers, Pirates, and Penguins fan in Connecticut, Norwich, Connecticut. Jordy Mercer takes ball 3. Everybody was a fan of Jordy Mercer's last night. 4 for 5. He crushed his second home run of the season in his first at bat. this one to right center field for a base hit. Off of Jesse Hahn, a leadoff single. When you get Mercer going, as Clint Hurdle said, this offense could really take off.
A pitch that was away, just goes that direction with it. He won that shortstop job last year. We talked about this. I have several times this year, and he did it with the offense. And you know that same hitter has to still be in there. He's just got off to a horrible start this year.
Cole will try and bunt him over. Foul ball. 3 sacrifice bunts this season. Trying to get Mercer into scoring position. And bunted it hard as Hahn will throw to second base, get the out there. They won't turn 2. And Garrett Cole is on first on the fielder's choice.
Put that ball down just a little too firm. It was almost like a ground ball back toward the mound. But still, it was a nice play by Hahn.
Gets off the mound quickly.
I mean, do you really expect a kid out of Double-A to make that play? It's so coolly and calmly. I don't. Just no panic involved. Immediately looked to second base. Threw a strike. How many times have you seen pitchers throw that ball away at second
lots.
base? It's pretty impressive here early on.
He attended spring training on an invite this spring. The Padres, his first big league spring training, and pitched 8 2/3 scoreless innings. 1-0 on Josh Harrison. 2-0, second time through the lineup now for Hahn. In his big league debut, and he becomes the first Hokie, Virginia Tech, to make his debut in the big league since Wyatt Torregas, who made his big league debut for the Cleveland Indians in 2009. Wyatt Torregas is now the Pirates' video advanced scout. You might remember him back in 2011 when the Pirates used 8 catchers, including Wyatt Torregas, one game. I'm sure he's watching this one tonight, but, rooting for the Pirates along the way as he watches Jesse Hahn. And 2-2 on Harrison. Carlos Quentin seated tonight. And did that hit the bat? It did. Now as I look at as I mentioned, Wyatt Torregas, the advanced video scout, to see if he can be watching tonight. Pirates will be taking on the Cubs a little bit later on, and they are playing the Mets at this hour in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Mets and Cubs are tied at 1, so we'll be catching this one a little bit later. 2-2. Bounced foul. Still 2-2 on Josh Harrison. Bucco fans all over the place. Cole at first with 1 out.
Joe just made him go back and touch first.
What'd he do?
Made him go back and touch first after the foul ball.
Oh, no. Wow. Harrison chased.
I mean, it's a rule that I don't think I've ever seen anybody.
So they forced the guy to do it.
I think Joe just kind of messing with him. After a foul ball, you're supposed to go back and touch the base.
Watch West.
Okay, we say, hey,
touch that.
You got to touch the base. Oh, I like that. That's something Joe would do.
Country Joe. 5 strikeouts for Jesse Hahn. 1-1 on Neil Walker, who a broken bat, 1 hopper to the shortstop Cabrera in the first inning. Deep to left center field, back toward the wall, and an opposite field home run for Neil Walker. Clear the deck with a cannonball. His 11th, and the Pirates take a 2-0 lead in the 3rd inning.
And Neil sent ball downstairs. And that's where that one was.
What a first half of the season for Neil Walker.
Most guys, it's a weak spot when you pitch them down and away. Neil this year is hitting .365 on balls down and away.
Man.
.365 with power. That is impressive. That's a curveball down and away that he was able to drive out of the ballpark the other direction in a ballpark that is known for being a little tougher than most to get the ball over the fence. What a year.
11 homers, 34 RBIs now for Walker.
Look at that hook. I mean, that's outside corner, knees, home run.
Neil Walker is 3rd currently in All-Star voting, so some work for Bucco fans to get Neil Walker to the Midsummer Classic in Minneapolis at Target Field.
It might be tough to pass Gordon being Gordon's having a good year in LA, and he has all those LA voters behind him, but I mean, he deserves it. Give him a run.
Pirates.com/vote.
He might have picked up some of those LA voters. To run through Los Angeles.
If any group of fans can do it, we've seen what Pirate fans can do. 3-2 on McCutchen. 2-0 Pirates in the 3rd. McCutchen draws the walk, and that's the first for Jesse Hahn.
Not the first for Kutch.
No. Andrew McCutchen, one of the reasons he has such a high on base percentage, he leads the National League with 44 walks. Came in 3rd in on base percentage.
There's 2 outs and nobody on, and they were incredibly careful with it. This is getting so much respect. Look, see where all the pitchers are there, Greg?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing really on the plate at all, even with 3 balls. There it is, off the plate. Careful, careful.
He's aboard for Ike Davis. Neil Walker has given the Pirates a 2-0 lead. That opposite field home run. Checking on McCutchen. He's 7 for 7 in the stolen base department. Inside. Davis struck out his first time up last inning. One of 5 strikeouts for Jesse Hahn. to the second baseman on that overshift. Davis is retired, but Neil Walker goes oppo. Walker with his 11th home run of the season. And now with 34 RBIs. He drove in 53 all of last year with 16 homers. He's off to his best season of his career. Rob, thank you. And what an upset that is already, that the Royals taking charge in that series. The Cardinals have now lost 3 straight. They started the day 5 back of the Brewers in the Central, with the Pirates and Reds both 7.5 back. And of course, the Pirates are going to be taking on those Brewers starting on Friday night, a free shirt Friday at PNC Park. Showdown with the first place club in the Central. The Brewers are trailing Minnesota 6-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Here is Rene Rivera. And catching tonight. Neil Walker's home run, giving the Pirates a 2-0 lead. And since the start of last year, Walker has hit 27 homers. And that is the top number among all switch hitters in the National League.
How about since like September 1st last year?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, he got into a groove with the home run ball right at the end of the season last year, and he was able to take it right through the winter, starting hot with it again.
Strike is called. Walker hit 7 homers his final 9 games last year. Giving Cole this lead. And now Cole falls behind Rivera 3-2. And that home run by Walker, another oddity. We talked a lot about it on the radio side. I'm sure you and Tim did, about the fact that so many different players are hitting home runs recently. This ball foul. Each of the last 8 home runs by Pirates players have been hit by 8 different Pirates players. Walker, the most recent, of course, Jordy Mercer last night, Josh Harrison, Andrew McCutchen, Ike Davis, Russell Martin, Pedro Alvarez, and Gabby Sanchez. Last 8 home runs have been hit by 8 different players.
That's, I think, kind of like what you want.
Yeah. That didn't miss by a lot.
You want the home runs to just be from 1 or 2 spots in that lineup. And spread around a little. Cole's not getting a lot of pitches tonight. That could have easily been called a strike.
Alan Porter, the Pennsylvania product from Chestnut Hill, PA, near Philadelphia, attended Cal U. He's not doing the Pirates any favors. And Russell Martin talking to him. We're going to be careful what we say about Alan Porter. Jason Steele, one of the gypsies, is a Cal U guy. He will not like it.
You always have to be careful with the guys in the trailer not to get them upset.
I know you do. You're always careful. Glenn Hoffman, third base coach, talking with Hahn, who had 3 at-bats this season. His 3 professional at-bats, 0 for 3 and a strikeout. So this is foreign territory to him. And now swinging away. That wasn't a missed sign. He had to be told that by Hoffman.
What was that all about? Swing away?
Hoffman relaying the signs from the bench.
Baseball in the 21st century. Let a guy swing that hadn't hit since high school.
One ball and 2 strikes on Jesse Hahn.
Wow, he's got a good eye for no experience. That was close. And pulled that bat back right at the last moment.
Two and 2. And he gets it down. Hahn doing just about everything right. It did give up the 2-run homer, of course, to Walker, but very impressive what he's done, fielding his position and now getting a bunt down.
And he even gave a strike away with the swing, didn't he? Still got the bunt down. Yeah, he's having a great opener here, starting his career. Even with the home run, I think he's got to feel good about the way he's pitching. And there's not too many times he'll throw a curveball at the knees on the outside corner and have it go out of the ballpark the other way. I think that was just a great job by Walker.
Everett Cabrera with Rivera at second and 1 out. There's a first pitch strike. Cabrera, Rule 5 pickup by the Padres from the Colorado Rockies back in December of 2008. Another strike. 0-2 the count on Cabrera. Oh, 2, 1 out. Rivera at second. It's the heat map you got up there, Bob.
Like thunderstorms are coming.
What's going on with this? Explain, please.
Well, where the red mark is there in the middle, where it looks like it's really raining hard.
Yes.
That is where he gets the vast majority of his base hits. So if you put a line through the middle of the strike zone, see, he likes the ball in the outside half of the plate. So we'll put this up and we're going to watch and see where they pitch him. So
you prefer not to pitch him away?
It doesn't look like it to me. He likes the ball middle away. I mean, that's his sweet spot.
And this is down, and he strikes out. So Cole and Martin paying attention to that heat map and staying away from those thunderstorms. Strikes out Cabrera with the pitch downstairs. Breaking ball. Two outs, runner at second, and now here's Chase Headley, who struck out looking his first time up. Now, do we have any other of those heat maps for anybody?
Yes, we're going to throw a heat map up for Seth Smith. He also has thunderstorms.
Let's hope we're not looking at it this inning.
No, that'll be next inning.
All right.
He's leading off.
Something to look forward to when Smith leads off.
Well, I think it could be interesting to see, to look at it, see where he likes the ball, and then watch and see how the Pirates pitching.
Absolutely. That was neat. Out in front of Headley, 0-2.
Now the green on that map when we show it, those are also base hits, but that's there's not very many where the green is. It's just like looking at a weather map, looking where it's raining. Where it's red, that's where the concentration is.
Severe thunderstorms.
And that's where you want to stay away from.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And 2-2. Cole has struck out 4. He's walked 2. Headley stays alive. Headley is a 171 hitter from the right side of the plate, a 206 batting average from this side of the plate, so neither very complimentary. A Gold Glover at 2012 season at third base for the Padres. Pops this one up. Shallow left. Harrison coming in. And Jay has it. So we will be looking at that heat map, the weather map. Seth Smith at the bottom of the 4th. Buccos at the top of the 4th. San Diego. Pirates will return home Friday night, take on the first place Brewers, 3-game series. And the series finale will be this coming Sunday as the Pirates and Brewers meet at 1:35. All kids 14 and under will get a Russell Martin poster thanks to Trib Total Media. And don't forget about the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street, just outside the ballpark. And after the game, kids can run the bases thanks to Kennywood. It's this Sunday. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. That 3-game series against the Brewers starts Friday night. They go to the 9th inning in Milwaukee with the Twins up 6-3. Pirates hoping to shave another game off that lead and get it to 6.5 by tomorrow. They're up 2-0 here as Martin leads off the fourth. He had a one-out single in the second inning against Jesse Hahn, who was teammates with Matt Harvey. How about that rotation in high school in Connecticut? Strike one.
What Connecticut's known for, pitching.
Well, harking you back to the days, as we said, Steve Blass, Housatonic High School. He and Tom Parsons, John Lamb all would make it to the big leagues. That small high school in Connecticut. And here, Jesse Hahn, who had Tommy John surgery before he threw a pitch in pro ball. Matt Harvey, of course, is rehabbing from Tommy John, the Mets ace.
Who was that guy we made up about a month ago? Do you remember the name? I was going to remember that. It was such a cool name. You just came up with it off the top of your head. I forgot it.
Well, we didn't have him as a pitcher, did we?
Can't remember what position he played now.
And I don't remember why we made him up. Do you?
No, but it was kind of a cool thing.
It was some obscure statistic. And I think you were asking me to look up, trying to get me to look at my computer.
Something like that.
3-1 on Russell Martin leading off the fourth. And he leads off with a free pass. It's the second walk for Jesse Hahn. Want to get your photos in using Twitter, the hashtag BucsFanPhoto, our AT&T fan photo of the night. Show us how you root for your Buccos, as it is a late night when you watch the Pirates on the West Coast. Maybe you can take some photos of Jolly Rogers in your house, or perhaps the superstitious area where you sit, whatever it might be, to get your Buccos a W. Again, use the hashtag BucsFanPhoto. And time called after ball one.
When I was Rock was nice enough to give me that extra day off in L.A.
Yep.
and able to spend the weekend at my brother's house. And we were sitting out in the back on the patio, and I looked down a couple of houses up on a hill, and somebody had a big flagpole with a Jolly Roger at the top.
In California?
Yeah.
Did you take a picture?
I did, but it didn't come out. The sun was kind of behind it, and
it would have been a great shot. Can you imagine the Jolly Roger with the sun setting in the background?
I had my phone.
Oh,
it
my
was
goodness.
not like I had a camera.
Your phone is top of the line.
But it was kind of a cool thing. To see right there in Miller, California, there's somebody was flying Jolly Roger. Cool.
Did you see the posters that were out around San Diego, by the way, today?
No.
This ball's fouled out of play. I guess maybe I should send this to Jason. And I should use the hashtag. Oh,
yeah,
you can't. They can't.
Right here.
That does you a lot of good. But I'll have to. It's the Real Pirates exhibition at the San Diego Natural History Museum.
Did you go see that today?
I didn't. I didn't know about it until today. Are you ready? Well, the Pirates right now ready to perhaps get Hahn out of this game. We said about the pitch count, and they have the bullpen working now. As Hahn has walked Martin and faces Alvarez, a 3-1 count.
The Pirates offense has certainly been ready for a while.
Oh, line drive and clear the deck. Bullseye over the right field wall. A line drive home run for Pedro Alvarez. And it's 4-0 Bucs.
That was an absolute bullet. Another ball that was down right at the knees.
Alvarez, his 11th. Makes it 4-0.
He's done some good things in his first start in the big leagues. It's coming apart a little bit with these home run balls. That a fastball down. Just 90 miles an hour. Hahn really hasn't thrown all that hard. It's one thing we haven't seen.
Bouncer to second for the first out. Here's the Alvarez line drive home run.
This ball just, how quick is that to the seats?
Man. That's impressive.
Put it to the new addition out there. That would not have been a home run a couple of years ago. That would have just been a long line drive off the wall.
Here is Jordy Mercer, who singled to right field in the third inning. Hahn had not given up a home run this season in 33 minor league innings at AA San Antonio, and had given up just one last year. Rookie ball and A ball in the Tampa Bay Rays organization. Keep in mind, this is a rookie making his major league debut who had thrown only 44 major league innings. 44 major league games and 129 minor league innings. This ball's just foul off to the right, and not enough height for Alonso to make the catch. And good work from Walker and Alvarez as just shave $4 more off the lower outfield and outfield box tickets for that 4-game series against the Cubs at PNC Park starting Monday night. You score as the Pirates score promotion.
The Gypsies have just told me, Greg, that from the bat till the ball hit the seats, just 3.5 seconds.
Wow. Wow.
That was a rock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 0-2. And Mercer has another hit. Oh, Jordy Mercer, his last 3 games.
The batting average is climbing quick. I mean, he started yesterday, I think, hitting a $198 at game time yesterday. And heck, this will put him up close to 230, I would think. When you're still fairly early in the year, you don't have all that many at bats, you can change that batting average around very quickly if you get hot.
Jason Lane, what a story. Looks like we're going to see this former outfielder for the Houston Astros come back to the major leagues as a pitcher. Meanwhile, Garrett Cole will try and advance the runner. He was not able to do it last time, and he won't do it this time. He bunts the ball up to Alonso in foul territory.
Overall, this has certainly been a sore spot this year. I mean, there's been some times where we've got some bunts down, but overall, and it's not just the pitching. In fact, it's probably more the regulars than the pitching. Just can't seem to get sacrifice bunts down with any kind of consistency. And Cole, that actually is one of the better bunters that we've had this year, but not tonight.
Bunted into a force play last inning, and he pops up the bunt this time. 2 outs. Josh Harrison is 0 for 2. And it's ball 2. And with Walker on deck, Hahn might be reaching the end of his night in his big league debut. We'll see. Mercer at first with 2 outs.
Could be Back-to-back big league debuts.
Yeah. And a strike. We got a gracious call there from Alan Porter. Cole Simmers on the bench.
You can't ever tell whether really though or if he's mad or not.
Well, 90% of the time when he's on that field, he's mad.
He's not allowed to compete. And if it doesn't go well, he's going to show that he is not happy. And he is upset with himself over that bunt. But what I like about it is he can show that outward, but it doesn't seem to ever affect the way he pitches, which is fine. I mean, there's guys that like that. They show their emotions, but they're able to channel it and use it in a good way. I think he's one of those types.
Ground ball, base hit as Mercer skips away. Puts runners at first and second.
Base hit will put J-Hay over 300.
Well, Bud Black No, he's not going to let Neil Walker face Hahn again. Instead, we are going to see Jason Lane return to the big leagues as a pitcher. And Jesse Hahn's big league debut ends after 3 2/3. Over the left center field wall to give the Pirates a 2-0 lead with 2 outs and a man on in the third. His 11th of the season. Pedro Alvarez added his 11th in this 4th inning. The Pirate fans smiling. And Bob, who do you think was more nervous, Jesse Hahn or Jason Lane?
I'll say Hahn, but I think there's a different kind of emotion maybe with Lane. I mean, he knows what this is all about. He's been on the field in the big leagues many times, just not standing in the middle of the diamond.
The former Astro and Padre outfielder Jason Lane as Jesse Hahn sits in the dugout.
I don't know if I've ever seen anybody make this change. You know, I've seen pitchers become regular players after they've pitched in the big leagues, but I can't think off the top of my head. Can you?
Well, was Brooks Kieschnick an outfielder that turned? I think so. He was the last one I can recall.
Yeah, I think he was.
Wasn't he an outfielder? And then I think.
Yeah, but I think he pitched also. Like, you know, I don't think that. You're right. But I don't. It wasn't kind of like this. It wasn't like where he was a starting player and, you know, did well and
an extra guy.
Yeah.
Lane, who appeared in parts of 6 major league seasons, mostly with the Astros, and even 3 games back in 2007 with the San Diego Padres. In 2005, this is a guy who hit a couple of homers in the National League Championship Series for Houston, and even in the World Series in 2005. He is 37 years old. Did a lot of pitching in college.
When's the last time? Probably been a while. Somebody that has a pitching line in the major leagues also has a home run in the World Series.
That'd be a great question. And how about this? Jason Lane's debut as a major league pitcher. He strikes out Neil Walker, but after some damage was done, as the Bull goes yard and gives the Pirates a 4-0 lead. Pedro Alvarez, the line drive home run, joining infield mate Neil Walker with 11 home runs.
And joining Neil on that side of the infield.
Yeah, that's
also.
right. He goes over to that right side in the overshift against Seth Smith. And we promised we would do this weather map, the heat map.
This one I like a lot because it really is concentrated. Now draw that line right down the middle, and almost every part of the green is on the outside, and all of the red is on from the middle to the outside. He does nothing with anything inside. So that you would think would be where they're trying to pitch him.
That was toward the inside part of the plate, so he flies out to left.
I don't know. I think that was in the sweet spot.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, it looked like they were trying to get it in. Let's see.
Let's watch it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he had set up inside.
No, that was
boy.
Outside. That was in the sweet
but
spot.
You were right about the inside. Nothing.
No, it was bare. The cupboard's bare inside. So you want to throw Smith from the middle of the plate in. The middle part in. That's like San Diego. Nothing happening. No red, no green. The other side.
Things happen.
Yeah, you might have to name that storm on the outside.
Wow, look at this. Alonso goes right up next to Alan Porter and questions the last call.
Hey, normally guys are, especially if it's just the first time they've said something, a little stealthy. You don't let everyone know that you're upset.
Two and two. Alonso fly to left in the second. Out of play. I'd like to see Cole get efficient and give Clint Hurdle more than 5, maybe even more than 6 innings, as it has been a pretty common theme most recently. Saw last night Charlie Morton go 5. Got the win. Edinson Volquez 5. Had the W on Sunday. Strike 3 call. And boy, he's really not happy now. And how much will Porter let Alonso go right up face to face and question a call?
Well, they got 2 pitchers called strikes that were way outside. That's why. And the other one we saw was well off the plate. This one also off the plate.
And you can. All right. Porter has given him a lot of leeway.
How about that last pitch? It's a wide plate. Sometimes. Some hitters.
Oh, 1-2 now on Jed Jerko. Jerko at the plate against Garrett Cole, with the Pirates leading 4-0. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
He's got the 2nd most RBIs ever at Petco Park.
You know, I was just about to say that. Tied with Khalil Green.
May 9th against Miami. Khalil Green. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yes, he did. He offered at that pitch in the dirt for the strikeout. Back-to-back Ks. That's 6 for Cole. And 1, 2, 3 go the Friars.
Five-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy helps recognize those who, despite their own needs, put others first. By the Chevy Malibu and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Pirates are leading 4-0. And on to the 5th inning here at Petco. As fans take in the game from the hillside beyond the right center field fence. And Andrew McCutchen takes a strike from Jason Lane. McCutchen struck out and walked against Jesse Hahn, who gave up 4 runs in 3 2/3 innings in his big league debut. And it figured to be just a spot start. They are expected to get Andrew Kashner back, so they made some moves today, including bringing up this former big league outfielder Jason Lane. That ball's going to hook toward the left fielder Smith. One down in the 5th.
Yeah, definitely an unusual story that they have going on with Lane. Working his way back to the big leagues as a pitcher at 37 years old.
A USC product who was a 6th round pick of the Astros back in 1999. A strike on the left-handed hitting Ike Davis, who has struck out and bounced out.
37. I think I was working my way to the broadcast booth. Working my way off the mound rather effectively.
Well, as you said, former pitchers. Rick Ankiel comes to mind. Cardinal top prospect who.
Well, I think it's because of normally it's because some type of arm injury where they lose their stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
But if they were good, athletes, good players, good hitting pitchers, you see them make the effort. And in Ankiel's case, it really paid off big time, even though it wasn't really an injury why he made that. But I just think it was so much more difficult for somebody that was a regular player, for a number of years, to reinvent himself, through going back down and going through the minor leagues and coming up at a much older age as a pitcher.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine doing that. But there it is, right in front of us.
Some AAA stints with a couple different organizations. Independent league for Jason Lane. Returning to the major leagues for the first time since he appeared in just 3 games with these Padres back in 2007. And he was playing AAA ball.
I'm assuming he'd be a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Yeah, it's kind of as we said about Brooks Kieschnick. He could stay in the ball game and hit, of course, as Kieschnick did when he reinvented himself with the Brewers.
He was a reliever pinch hitter.
But another guy down there is trying his hand at pitching on occasion as well. Jeff Francoeur, a teammate of Lane's, down at AAA El Paso, and playing for that organization. The manager of that club, Pat Murphy, is Pedro Alvarez's father-in-law. So, Jason Lane and Jeff Francoeur.
Francoeur much younger.
Yeah.
I could actually kind of see that a little bit. Normally this happens after a couple years in the minor leagues where somebody can't hit and they're like, well, I'll try my hand at pitching because I have a good arm and here I am. But to do it in your late 30s, that's the thing that really just amazes me.
One hop. Becoming more amazing because he's retired the first 4 batters he faces as a major league pitcher.
He's throwing strikes and get a couple out of balls.
in the questions using the hashtag Bucks Tuesday. And Calico Rob asked, what's your favorite thing about living in Pittsburgh?
The people are just so nice. A lot different from where I came from. Not saying they weren't nice, but they just kind of let you be kind of more relaxed. And no matter if you have a good day or bad day, they're still they're happy that you're there. And it's nice to have fans that actually truly just enjoy watching the game and knowing that we are trying our hardest, even though we might do terrible some days. But we're still giving it our all.
Yeah, quite a difference from when he would go for coffee with New York Met teammates and get some advice on how to hit. He said the funniest bit of advice he got was, if you move up just 2 more inches toward the plate, you'll get a lot more hits. That's stuff that he really heard when he was in New York, at least the anecdotes that he tells. So enjoying life a little bit of a slower pace in Pittsburgh, Greg.
Isn't that neat to hear, too, Robbie? The first answer, and Bob, I've heard former Pirates like yourself say this when you first came on board. They say the same thing, the people. It's really neat. Best thing about Pittsburgh,
well,
people.
The people that have never been to Pittsburgh, they have, still to this day, they don't realize what the city is all about, what it is. They have these conceived ideas, and it goes back to the the old steel mill days. And you come there, you get around the city, the downtown area, you get out in the suburbs a little bit, and you think, wow, we found paradise.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. And that's why one of the reasons why my family moved 25 years ago from California, where we are now, to Pittsburgh. Been there ever since.
Venable is retired on the bouncer to the right side of the infield. That's where Jordy Mercer was stationed.
We've had a number of visitors over the year, a family from California that came out and have liked it enough to where they've stayed.
That's right.
I mean, we got a lot of family.
You're bringing people from California to Western PA, Pittsburgh,
filling up the state.
Yeah. One away, Cameron Maben. 2 hops, another nice stop by Alvarez, and that slide. Kind of an in-between hop. He has made that play time and time again this season.
They're making some pretty good defensive plays. Pedro always has that cannon. And Greg, I think that when Pedro has a little less time, say after a play like that, for whatever reason, I get a feeling he's more accurate with his throws than when it's just like a routine 2-hopper and he's got a little extra time to think about it, maybe take the a little pro hop and all that stuff. I like it when he's just getting it and throwing it and just trusting the arm and his natural athleticism, his ability to get that ball over there on target with something on it. And I've seen other guys that were like that too, especially on that side of the diamond. When they just catch it, throw it, it's right there. No thinking involved. Puts a little pressure when they do that on the first baseman. They're firing it over on the routine play. You got to be there for them.
Jason Lane on deck. Pop up. Second baseman Walker. And a 1-2-3 inning. That's 9 straight set down by Garrett Cole.
Lead here into the 6th. Ike Davis, tonight's Twitter Tuesday guest, was asked by Jamie, if you weren't playing baseball, what career would you most likely pursue?
Probably be teaching. I like history. Just because I'm an athlete, it could be PE too, but that's probably what I would have done, was teach.
And I asked him, what he liked to teach level-wise. He's not quite sure if he'd go grade school or the high school route. Imagine having Ike Davis as your history or PE teacher, teaching you how to swing from the left side.
That would be cool. And that's neat. And that's Bob had an answer one day when he was asked on a pregame radio show what he would do if he weren't pitching in the big leagues. And
it was in this town, as a matter of fact. I got asked that question.
Ike Davis said he likes history and he likes teaching. What did you say?
I said I would be an archaeologist. You know what? This subject, I talked about this earlier today, Greg. This is amazing. Twice now. Something that happened 30 years ago. So Steve interviewed me for a radio pregame back in the day.
Alvarez going to fly out to left.
Rook had came to me earlier and said, hey, Steve's going to ask you to do a pregame today, and he's going to want to know, his question's going to be, what would you do if you weren't playing baseball? Come up with something crazy for him and go with it. So I did. I said archaeology, and then Steve asked me little follow-up questions, and I talked about why I have an interest in that. And it just went on and on, making up all kinds of stuff. And then Steve thanked me and for the visit.
Yeah, as he always does.
And then and that was it. They went and played it.
And did he ever follow up? Did anybody ever follow up with you on that?
No.
Just let it go.
Yeah, just it was well, Steve had no idea that it was all fake.
Yeah, I'm saying that nobody ever came back to you and said, hey, I heard that.
Well, today.
30 years later.
Somebody asked me about it. Actually, it was about Rook. That's how the conversation went.
And then you brought that up.
You know how the conversations go.
Oh, yeah.
Just one subject leads to another, and the archaeologist came up.
I don't think we're going to have to worry 30 years from now that people are going to wonder about Ike Davis's conversation there with Robbie. I think Ike, very sincere, talked about that. There's Lane, the former position player, slapping that ball down, picking it up and throwing out Snyder. And Jason Lane has retired the first 6 batters he has faced, returning to the major leagues. As we said earlier.
Nice play, but he didn't have to do this in right field.
No.
This is not what he was doing a lot of. Just a reaction, ball hit hard. The Pirates have hit some hard balls off of him, but he's been at somebody.
Slaps it down, gets it. Very unique situation tonight. As we said, Jason Lane, a former big league outfielder with some success, parts of 6 years in the major leagues, returning, and he is spotless. Jason Lane, 7 up, 7 down, but the Bucks lead 4-0. at PNC Park. 7:05. Jose Tabata models the T-shirt you'll receive, the Let's Go Bucks T-shirt, if you're one of the first 25,000 fans on hand Friday night, thanks to Point Park University. And don't miss the block party out on Federal Street before the game, featuring local live music. Plus, meet John Smiley at the Budweiser Bar. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Bucko fan with
nice beard, huh?
Yeah, that's a real
pirate beard.
Pirate.
Upturn on the staff.
Yeah. Here's Jason Lane, who was hitting .407 in the minor leagues this season, along with his pitching. And he flies out to right.
Not really like a normal pitcher, is he?
No.
What was his best year home run-wise?
He was not necessarily a home run guy, but his best year, he hit 26 in 2005.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
26 home runs.
Playing, most of his games obviously at the Minute Maid, but taking advantage of that, and that was his very best year in the big leagues, the 26 homers, and drove in 78 in 2005 with Houston. Now Cabrera, who struck out in the third. Jason Lane will be, I'm sure, the lead story for the Padres if they don't come back. And I guess even if they do, as he has set them down with help from the atom ball. And so too has Garrett Cole, setting them down since the walk to Rivera leading off the third inning. He's set down 10 in a row. He's retired 11 of the last 12. He's given up one hit, the double by Will Venable to right field in the second. He has allowed 3 base runners. Everett Cabrera, who's at the plate now, led off the bottom of the first inning with a walk. Pirates pitchers standing behind that bench.
Behind the chair.
Yeah.
Musical chairs. We're going to sit down when the inning's over and see who's.
Is this a superstition maybe for Cole? He's got a little roll going.
Must be.
Standing to watch him. Stays 2-2 on Everett Cabrera. A walk and a strikeout tonight against Cole. Cabrera, a National League All-Star last year, and then suspended for PED use, steroids. Missed the last 50 games. Bounced right side. Ike Davis races to the bag to beat Cabrera there. Garrett Cole has had success in the past against these Padres last year. 2 starts, and in one start at PNC Park, he registered a career high 12 strikeouts over 6 innings. That was September 19th. He got 1 run in 6 innings and a 10-1 Pirate victory over the Padres. Tonight he has struck out 6 and 2 outs into the 6th inning. We mentioned that, no question, pitching coach Ray Searage and Bucko skipper Clint Hurdle hoping that Cole could go a little deeper in some recent games by Pirates pitchers, especially the last 2. Cole's already topped that by getting 2 outs in the 6th.
Just 92 pitches, so you would think that 7 innings wouldn't be really a big deal for him.
2 strikes and looking strong. So even though he's approaching 100 pitches and is due to lead off, and the Pirates leading 4-0, it would not be a surprise at all to see him bat.
Wouldn't be a surprise at all for him not to bat either. It's one of those cases. Just have to wait and see what Blunt decides.
Yeah.
Nobody doing much in the pen. Enjoying the view.
Cole went 6 1/3 innings his last start, and I believe just threw 88 pitches his last start. And going the other way, Headley gets it down just inside the line, and Harrison will get the ball in quickly and hold Chase Headley to a 2-out opposite field single.
Tried to throw it in and didn't get there.
Headley picks up his first hit in this series after going 0 for 3 last night, and his first 2 at bats tonight, 0 for 2. Here's Seth Smith, 0 for 2. He talked his last at bat about that hot zone and where they should be pitching to him, trying to get that pitch in on Smith. Middle away is where that weather map showed he does damage.
Well, the first pitch was, he didn't do anything with it.
Looked like Martin was setting up away, but that pitch was down and in.
Yep.
There's the weather map, as
First
Bob
pitch
said. The
was
red
right
stuff
on the edge of
is
the storm.
Danger storm. Yeah. Now Martin set up in, but not able to get it, and a base hit for Smith. Not where Martin or Cole wanted it to be.
Bullpen will not be just sitting up there watching the view anymore after this base hit. Wants that breaking ball down and in, and it just did not break at all. Just kind of spun.
Ray Searage is going to buy the bullpen some time. Jared Hughes up in the pen for the Bucks. Pitched last night.
He's kind of the go-to guy when you need someone in the middle of an inning to come in with runners on base. Been so good at that this year. Branding runners. A friend of the starters.
Number 23, Yonder Alonso.
4-0 game, and Yonder Alonso, the left-handed hitting first baseman, who's flied to left and struck out looking, could be Cole's last batter.
Was it Alonso that had the problems last time with Porter behind the plate to talk to him?
Yes.
When I was looking at that first pitch, that was another pitch that was off the plate.
Bounced into left field. Runner will be waved. Here comes the throw from Harrison. It's off the mark, and a run in. It's 4-1. 3 straight hits for the Padres. Headley scores, and it's a 4-1 game.
All right on the edge. It looked like Alonso had to say, well, they're going to keep calling that ball away a strike. I'm going to have to go the other direction with it. Able to bang it through that hole.
It's going to spell the end of Cole's night. He's not able to get through 6 innings.
Yeah, it's hard to get a starter.
Cole was the last starter to go 6+.
Okay,
back on Thursday. Cole's family and friends on hand. All right, Rod, thanks. Garrett Cole not able to get the last out in the 6th inning. It's up to Jared Hughes as he faces Jerko, who has grounded out and struck out, and a swing and a miss. Hughes pitched 1-2-3 6th inning last night in relief of Charlie Morton. Did not face Jerko. And up the middle, backhand stop, and Walker to first to get the out. So Walker shaded over toward that bag, and that pays off, that defensive positioning. Walker able to make the play for the final out of the 6th inning. Week, Pirates take on the Cubs at PNC Park. Help support Pirates charities and local military support groups by purchasing VIP bags and bidding on teams' game-worn jerseys from that night. Pirates charities on Root Sports auction next Tuesday, starting at 6 on Root Sports. That'll be game 2 of the 4-game series against the Chicago Cubs at PNC Park. Here in San Diego, it is 4-1. Pirates lead it as Jared Hughes, the starting pitcher's best friend, gets that last out, and those 2 runners do not score off of Cole, who gives up 1 run in 5 2/3. That's 14 inherited runners now for Hughes. None has scored. And Starling Marte, a pinch hitter for Hughes, takes a strike.
Saving those ERAs. Comes in, throws the ground balls.
Ball out of play. Teddy Watson will be next.
7, 8, 9.
Watson, Melanson, Grilly. That's,
I said this last night, Greg. Mention again, the way baseball is now, I think everybody pretty much expects bullpens to have to cover 3 innings every night at a minimum. You know, if they only have to pitch 2, that's great. But I don't think that 3 is unexpected. I think
I agree. The only thing I'll say is it can't, for the Pirates, and we were talking about the Pirates, it just can't continue. They're going to need their starters to eventually go 6.
Well, yeah, but
7.
3 innings is what I think is routine now for bullpens to have to cover on a nightly basis. I think that's kind of what is expected of them. And that's really why you now have, over the last, couple decades, the bullpen's getting bigger and bigger, and you have the extra couple guys down there that take part of that load. You used to have closers, then it went to 8th and 9th inning men, and now you have 7th, 8th, 9th inning men. just the evolution of the game. And it's not Pirates, it is everybody in baseball. But the starters just don't pitch as many innings. It starts in the minor leagues. Or the minor league starters, you see them, 5-6 innings.
Two and one on Harrison.
For a different reason, I think, in the minor leagues. I think they're trying to protect arms more. I think that's the reasoning behind that.
Hit hard, but at Headley. Harrison is retired, 2 down. We're talking about the minor leagues. Jared Hughes back and forth between the minors and the big leagues this year. But these 4 are all-star representatives in the Florida State League. Orlando Castro, the pitcher, and outfielder Josh Bell will go. In the Sally League, the South Atlantic League, West Virginia power players Reese McGuire and Eric Weiss. Congratulations. They are all-star representatives in the Pirates minor league system. Ball 1. And that's for those 2 lower level leagues. The AAA All-Stars won't be announced for a while yet. That All-Star game takes place right around the big league All-Star break. The Pirates AAA affiliate tonight lost to Syracuse in Syracuse, New York, playing the Washington Nationals top farm club. And again, Gregory Polanco led off the last 4 games for Indy. He was 1 for 4 with an RBI tonight. Ball 2 strikes on Walker. Homered in the 3rd. Jason Lane's fastball misses. Lane has not allowed a hit in his major league pitching debut. One-time Astros outfielder. He's retired 9 in a row. Walker homered as a left-hand hitter against the rookie Jesse Hahn, who made his major league debut. Gave up 4 runs in 3 2/3. Pair of 2-run homers, Walker and Alvarez. And Jason Lane. 10 up, 10 down for the 37-year-old.
DL retro to May 2nd, dealing with the right shoulder inflammation. He had a rehab outing last night with the Bradenton Marauders. You see, he went 2 innings, a couple strikeouts and a walk, all over 26 pitches. Manager Clint Hurdle today said that his command got better as the outing went on. Now, as we go forward, he's going to upgrade to Double-A Altoona. On Friday, he's going to throw 3 innings in Trenton for the Altoona curve. And after that, they're going to reevaluate Greg and Bob. So the Pirates might be getting closer and closer to getting another power arm to come out of that bullpen and help in pressure or long situations, should situation dictate it.
Robbie, thank you. Pimentel and Jean-Marc Gomez and Brian Morris for those pitchers that were out of options.
You'd like to see that power arm come back. Pimentel last year throwing well over 95 consistently. That was not there this year, and hopefully that good fastball's back. Tony Watson's had a nice fastball all year. Great numbers. Been striking all kinds of people out. 32 Ks. Just 26 appearances.
Chris Denorfia pinch hitting. For the left-handed hitting Will Venable, and Starling Marte, who pinch hit, stays in the game to play left field. Strike 1 on Denorfia. Takes outside. Saw Denorfia last night. Veteran outfielder. In on him, and it's fouled back and out of play. And Kevin Quackenbush, we saw him last night. He faced one batter, got an out. Fouled out of play. Talk about a lot of Pirate fans on hand. We've met Billy and Casey White, along with Mike Decker, vacationing and watching the Pirates. Billy and Casey, David White's sons. David White, a longtime Pittsburgh attorney. Something out in center field has drawn Denorfia's attention, and Alan Porter.
I didn't say anything, did you?
Nope. We'll continue. Shortstop Mercer. Goes out Denorfia. Road Ahead is presented by Nissan. This long road trip, which started in New York, 3 games against the Mets, then on to LA, across the country, 4 against the Dodgers, and busting down here. Road trip ends tomorrow afternoon. Francisco Liriano for the Pirates against Ian Kennedy. Pirates hopefully will be looking for the sweep. So tomorrow afternoon, 3:40 airtime. Our first pitch here. 6:40 airtime in Pittsburgh for the first pitch. Francisco Liriano on the mound against the righty Ian Kennedy. One ball, 1 strike on Maben. Liriano finally got his first win his last time out against the Dodgers, while Tony Watson looks to get 2 more outs. The Pirates try and preserve this lead for Garrett Cole, who would improve to 6-3. Maben has struck out and grounded out. A nice play by Pedro Alvarez, retired Maben back in the 5th. goes to 3-1. Tony Watson has been so good again this season. Watson doesn't do that too often.
I was going to say that's a little unusual for Tony, especially with the 3-run lead when the hitter really can't hurt you that much with a solo home run. Tony normally really aggressive and goes right at those guys.
Watson has now walked 8 batters in just over 26 innings. Rene Rivera. In the air to left. Marte coming in, still racing in, and he'll get there to make the catch. 2 outs. We'd like to welcome Service Electric Cable TV viewers in the Wilkes-Barre area. Thanks for watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. Let's go Bucks. Service Electric in the Wilkes-Barre area. Now, Carlos Quentin is going to make an appearance as a pinch hitter. He bats for Jason Lane. Quentin, an obvious benching by his manager Bud Black for his jog down the first baseline at the end of the game last night.
Somebody said he was a little rude to some fans too behind the dugout after.
His fans were probably getting on him, yes. And he barked back at them, huh?
Yeah, that might have been part of the benching also.
Ball 1 on Quentin. Shift against the pull hitter. Quentin is hitting .286. Time on the disabled list. One ball, no strikes. Couldn't hold. It's 1-1. Quentin returned in the middle of May. Started the year on the DL with a left knee bruise. A veteran outfielder with his club down by 3. And fouls this one out of play. Again, if you missed this, Quentin ground ball to the 9th inning. His team is down 10-3, but the bobble by Alvarez. Obviously, Quentin would have reached had he been going hard. He'll pretty much shut it down. Maybe if he went half speed, he'd have reached.
Half speed, I think, might have done it. Pedro was happy, though. He thought he had an error.
Yeah.
Ended up,
not many times the batter saves the fielder.
No, that doesn't happen very often. Did last night.
Two and 2. I wish the best to Gil Lucas, our old buddy, who's got a going away party going on. Bill Hillgrove hosting Michael Gill. And the strike 3 is called. Carlos Quentin. Unhappy camper. 4-1 Pirates.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by T-Mobile Tuesday Night Baseball.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Pirates.com for details. Here in San Diego, we see Kevin Quackenbush for the second straight night.
I think the opponent batting averages coming out of their bullpen. Mentioned this last night. A lot of guys are not giving up many hits. Quackenbush, one of those. Of course, last night it took a little bit of a beating. And they gave up a bunch of hits.
Kristen Orpheus stays in the game. He's in right field. And the other way. Jammed him, and it's a soft liner to Alonso, so Andrew McCutchen is retired. Quackenbush will face Ike Davis, who is 0 for 3. Neil Walker's 2-run homer in the 3rd inning off Jesse Hahn was followed up in the 4th inning by a 2-run homer from Pedro Alvarez. It's been the Pirates scoring Jason Lane 3 1/3 perfect innings of relief in his debut as a pitcher. Walker, 1 of 6 Pirates hits tonight. His 11th home run of the year. And that's popped up as Mike Davis is jammed on that pitch.
Definitely put that one in a good spot. Just sawed him right off. Mike looking up at the scoreboard there. See where that pitch was.
AT&T fan photo. Tom Gardner got the Parrot t-shirt going on here at the ballpark, Petco Park. Hashtag Bucks fan photo, the AT&T fan photo. Tom's enjoying the lollipop. He's got the Parrot t-shirt. Russell Martin has singled, walked, and bounced to first, and he bounced to short rather, and he grounds this ball to the shortstop. The 5-pitch 8th inning for Quackenbush. 6 more outs to go. Pirates lead 4-1.
The first time I met Chuck, or the first time all of us were around him for an extended period of time, We thought, is this guy for real? Is this guy always this exuberant, this positive?
Stan Savran just one of many impressed with the undeniable enthusiasm of Pirates manager Chuck Tanner. Hear from Tanner's players, colleagues, and many others as we explore his infectious personality and management style on a special Inside Pirates Baseball tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Clint Hurdle, the enthusiastic Pirate skipper, has gone to the bullpen after Garrett Cole went 5 2/3. Jared Hughes got that big last out of the 6th. Tony Watson a scoreless 7th. And here is the pecking order, Mark Melancon.
Yeah, this is
trying to get the 8th.
Really what we saw so much of last year when the bullpen was almost invincible. And, as long as everybody stays healthy, it looks like it's the recipe for the rest of the year. It comes getting a little working over right now. Seems to get a little brisker as we get to the last couple innings.
Yep.
It's more stressful here in the 8th and 9th. Got a nice cushion though.
Top of the batting order, Everett Cabrera. Hurdle trying to lead the Pirates to their 28th win of the season, get them to within 2 games of 500. The Brewers lost. Melancon will just tag. Well, what a little tag. And a shove from Mark the Shark, and Cabrera takes exception to it. And Ike Davis escorting him off the field.
I kind of like that. Everybody expects just like a little tap. That was a little more than a tap.
It was almost Hughes-like on what Brandon Phillips.
That was a shove, right? He gave him a shove.
Yeah. Stay away from the Sharks, Bob.
Yeah, the Sharks are sharks.
And a bunt try by Headley, and a good idea, giving it to him. And with his club down 3 in the 8th inning, why not? But it was fouled off.
You know, this is a play that I think guys are going to have to actually come out and practice this, because it looks like it's wide open, but we haven't saw anybody successfully really pull this off.
And it's almost across Major League Baseball, Bob.
Just turn around, square up, bunt the ball down the third base side.
And you don't have to be late. You can square right now if you wanted to, by the way.
Well, I mean, you don't have to even, run. Quentin could even get it out.
Well, come on. As he squares, Alvarez starts to.
But it doesn't matter because of where he's playing. It wouldn't make any difference whatsoever if Pedro runs in or not. But I talked to Ike about this the other day, and he said that, I mean, he does not like the fact that 3 guys are going over on that side of the infield, and with 1 or 2 strikes, he is going to try and hit the ball on the ground, get on top of it, and hit some ground balls to that side to get him out of the shift. Now, he said, now, if I'm trying to drive the ball for extra bases, well, then I'm not going to be too worried about it. But he said, especially with 2 strikes when you're trying to protect, heck yeah. Make them pay for putting everybody on that side of the infield. And, Clint Hurdle the other day, he said the same thing in one of his interviews, that the shift is here to stay until the hitters make people change by laying down the bunt or hitting a ground ball to that side.
Two and 2 on Headley. Singled and scored in the 6th. Strike 3 called. Headley says no way to Alan Porter. Does he have a beef?
Yes, he does. That ball off the plate away a little bit. I think Mr. Porter had his mind made up that we are not going to have another 4-hour game.
That's true.
He is kind of made it to where the hitters need to swing the bat tonight.
4 hours, 4 minutes last night, the longest home game in Padres history, 9-inning game.
You know, it's almost to me, Greg, because we haven't seen anybody bunt successfully for a base hit when the shift's been on this year. That probably tells you more about the state of the sacrifice bunt than the lack of sacrifice bunts we've seen successfully put down. Because nobody can do it.
And Bob, I don't know this for a fact, but I don't know that they work that much at it.
Because there's a free base hit for a lot of players. Free base hit, and they can't do it.
I don't see players coming out.
Well, that's why I said that earlier, that players are going to have to start practicing putting that ball on the ground to the third base side so they can get their hits and get the opposition out of the shift.
I'm waiting for some player to come out early. Any player to come out early and start trying.
Well, if you see one, let me know, because I'm never hearing it.
I understand that. That's why I said I am waiting. Houston Street. Padres closer, and Mark Melancon has a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th inning. The Pirates look to add on. They're up by 3.
Question mark, be careful what you ask for. We are broken bad, we never had a chance. We want what we don't have, be careful what you ask for. We will never die, punch a hole in the sky. Find the perfect life, be careful what you ask for.
Music from Everclear going to be performing at the Stage AE in Pittsburgh on June the 20th. Great shots as tonight the Pirates lead 4-1. Going to the 9th inning, and as we said, the Brewers lost, so Pirates get to 3 more outs. They've moved to within 6.5 of the Brewers. Welcoming in Milwaukee to PNC Park Friday night. Houston Street, the Padres closer. $17 out of 17 this season for Houston Street.
He doesn't give up hits. 133. That is a low batting average.
He has pitched scoreless baseball in 20 of his 22 outings. Right side shift on, backhand play made by Alonso, and Street covers. Quickly one out in the ninth. 14 in a row have been retired by Padres pitchers.
Well, the bullpen's done a great job coming in, and that was their what we heard about the Padres before yesterday, that their bullpen had been very tough, very stingy. But that wasn't the case in yesterday's game. But tonight, yes, indeed.
Travis Snyder. Pirates have their closer Jason Grilli loosening, and also, just in case the Pirates are able to get a run, they've got Casey Sadler up. Currently a safe situation, so Hurdle would go to Grilli, but if the Pirates could pick up a run here, save the closers, a ground ball to second. 2 outs. On this week's Inside Pirates Baseball, several players step outside their comfort zone to play some unfamiliar positions. Pirates coaches host the Women's Baseball Clinic, Pitch for Hope at PNC Park, and much more. Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network tomorrow after post-game on Root Sports. Here's Jordy Mercer. He's 2 for 3. Mercer's average going into Saturday was $1.90. And he's raised it up to $2.27 with his 4 for 5 performance last night, 2 for 3 tonight. He had 2 hits on Saturday in that start against the Dodgers. But Houston Street, a quick 1-2-3 inning. Jason Grilli will try to save it for Cole and get the Bucks within 6.5 for the Brewers.
Authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And he gets the strikeout. Got him. Out. The ball game is over.
Jason Grilli looks to save it for Garrett Cole. Really saved Cole's game on Thursday night. He's back in the familiar closer's role. Really, he was for save number 9 on the season. Faces Yonder Alonso to start things.
And you can see by what's going on here tonight with Grilli that this is why Clint loves it when he is healthy and can pitch the 9th inning and makes the bullpen just line up for him. You can go that 7, 8, 9. And have the same formula, the same recipe that the Pirates bullpen had last year. And then now you have Hughes, Greg, is kind of like the guy to get out of trouble.
Yeah.
He can always finish it, get that last out in the 6th, strand the runners. So it's even extended a little bit further, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. You've got Justin Wilson around.
If you need a whole inning in the 6th.
Yeah.
He's been doing that. Everybody pretty much has their set roles. And Genmar, kind of the jack of all trades. Be coming back and help kind of fill into a similar type of role with Genmar. The starter leaves early. You got somebody to go out there and work 2 or 3 innings if necessary, like what Lane did for the Padres tonight.
0-2 on Alonso. Still 0-2. Alonso was 1 for 3 against Cole. He drove in the only Padres run against Cole. It was in the 6th inning, his opposite field single. Talking with Clint Hurdle the other day about the Cole save on Sunday night against the Dodgers. Off-speed pitch strikes out Alonso, 1 up and 1 down.
Is that a changeup?
Looked like it. Looked like a rare changeup.
He reached into the trick bag. How about that?
And
look at him. He
Russell Martin called for it. It's a good call.
Yeah. Reached into the trick bag.
Now Judd Jerko. But in talking with Clint Hurdle about Grilli's save on Sunday night, national TV audience, he quickly struck out Adrian Gonzalez and Matt Kemp to start that 9th inning, had the 3-run lead. And then maybe he wanted to get the strikeout of Justin Turner after getting out in front 0-2. It was slider, slider, slider. Eventually he walked him. He walked the next man, gave up a hit to Scott Van Slyke. The tying run was on base before he got D. Gordon to line out to end the game, and that was Grilli's 8th save of the season. As the Pirates took 3 of 4 from the Dodgers, they're trying to take the first 2 of 3 against the Padres. Bucks look to go 6-3 on this road trip. Strike 3 call.
Yeah, that's when you think about that, Greg. That's after losing 1 and 2 in New York to come out of a place where Dodger Stadium may have won a game since 2011.
Right.
And you take 3 out of 4 there. I mean, that was just fantastic. A little paint on that last pitch right on the edge. And now to take at least 2 out of 3 here in San Diego, and that. I know the Padres, they aren't exactly rolling along right now. They're scuffling with their pitching, but it's still the major leagues, and it's on the road, and it's not easy.
Bouncing ball. Here comes Walker. And he throws on to first, raise the Jolly Roger again. The West Coast Buccos defeat the Padres in San Diego. And they do go 6-3 on this road trip. And they move to within 6.5 as they raise the Jolly Roger.
You get the Pirates close to an ocean and look out.
Neil Walker and Pedro Alvarez providing the damage.
Yeah, really.
Two-run homers. That was the offense.
Different kind of a ball game. Last night was all of the hits, tons of hits. Tonight, just 6 base hits, but the important thing, 2 of them went over the fence.
Really earns his 9th save. Let's send it back to Rob King and Ken Tacoma.